DDM 2024.07 sees an enhancement to the workflow engine that allows us to apply business rules via an SQL script. I'm using the example of a periodic review, so I've created a folder type here for various types of periodic review. We can see here that I've got a micrometer. If I edit the form here, we can see that this periodic review is for instrument calibration. Now, in order to demonstrate quickly, we have an expiry date here. We also have a review date. Now, if I set the expiry date for, let's say, 13/11, well, let's go for 13/12. Okay, and I'm allowing 1 minute to do the review. When I OK this, when I send it forward in the workflow, we can see here that the review date has been set to today, 1 minute before the expiry. So it's just an example, because clearly you would have more than 1 minute. So this is just an example to say, well, we have an expiry date and we need to review this an amount of time before, and therefore this is our review date. What this means is when we reach 13/11 or possibly up to 13/12, then this will automatically move back in the workflow for review. Okay, now that the time has passed, if I refresh the screen, we can see that we've moved back to the previous step in the workflow. Now, if I reopen this, we can see that the expiry date has been cleared. So let's see how we do this. If I go to the administration tool, I'm going to go to the workflow editing tool. Okay, and I've got my periodic review workflow version 2. I'm going to go into edit mode to look at under review step. Now, previously we've had the ability to create folder actions on arriving at a step. What we've added now is the ability to run an SQL command on arrival at a step. If we look at the one that I've already created, so this command for the periodic review type folder, this SQL command here sets the expiry date and clears it to null. So it clears that attribute. We have included some notes and a couple of examples here. So the ability to apply an SQL script on arriving at a step in a workflow. Note that when I say OK to this, it's important that you accept the liability of the SQL script that you're putting in place, because clearly that could be very dangerous and you could wipe the database if you put the wrong information in. So I will accept that liability. And the other example, just reverting back, the other example that we'd set here was the timer. So we were setting the review date based on the expiry date minus 1 minute. So let's look at the SQL script behind that. I go back into the admin tool. Okay. Periodic review workflow 2, and this step of the workflow, on arriving at this step, run this SQL command. Now, this SQL command for the periodic review type folder will set the folder review date. And what we're saying here is when the review period is 1 minute, set the expiry date as minus 1 minute. So this is the script that sets that time automatically for us on arrival at the step in the workflow. Again, accept the liability. So this enhancement is the ability to put SQL scripts on arriving at a step in a workflow. It could be used for many different things, so very powerful, but you have to accept the liability for the script that you're putting in place behind the scenes. A great enhancement to DDM 2024.07.